Hello friends, today I'll be looking at the factor theorem of polynomials. So I've actually explained this before, but I'm going to use this very example to explain it further. Now, you remember that factor theorem says, for instance, if p times x plus q is a factor of polynomial function of x, then know that f as function of minus q over p is equal to 0. It means that if you have a polynomial expression and is divisible by this linear divisor, now meaning that if you equate this into 0, x is going to be minus q over p. Then if you put this minus q over p, which may be a number, in a polynomial expression, it should give us, to be able to give us 0. So it means that the polynomial is actually divisible by this divisor without remainder. It will divide the polynomial without any remainder. So I'm going to use this theorem to solve this example here. So I have two methods which I want to use to solve this, factorize this polynomial. The first one is trial method. I'm going to use trial method, and it's very short and simple. So in trial method, you look at the constant. What I normally do is to look at the constants of the polynomial, which is 6, because 6 does not have any variable here. So when you look at the constant, you find the factors of the constant. 6 is divisible by 2 and 3. So I'm going to go with 2 and 3, because this is plus 6. Then plus 2 and plus 3, I'm going to use x as plus 2, and also use x and as plus 3. Remember that this is a cubic function. It's supposed to have 3 factors. Okay? Now, I'm going to use 1, either plus 1 or minus 1 as the third factor, because unlike a quadratic expression or quadratic equation, you have 2 factors, but in cubic function, you're supposed to have 3 factors. So I'm going to assume x to be equal to 2. So doing that, so anywhere I see x in this expression, I'm going to substitute it with 2. Doing that to see if I will get 0. If I get 0, I will now know that this is a factor. Now, let me try. Then I'm going to write 2 raised to the power of 3 minus 4 brackets 2 raised to the power of 2 plus 2 plus 6. Okay, now if you look at this, 2 raised to the power of 3 is actually 8. Minus 2 raised to the power of 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 2 raised to the power of 6 is actually 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. So this is actually a factor because I got 0. Okay? So meaning that, and you know that this is the same thing as x minus 2 is equal to 0. So now this is a factor of this polynomial. So I'm going to do the same with 3. Now, if I assume x to be 3, so I'm going to replace x with 3 to see if I will get 0. If I get 0, that means if I get 0 here, I will know that 3 is also a factor. So doing that, I will have 3 raised to the power of 3 minus 4 bracket 3 raised to the power of 2 plus 3 plus 6. So 3 raised to the power of 2 is actually 27 minus 3 raised to the power of 2 is 9. 9 times 4. 9 times 4 should be 36. Then plus 3 plus 6, that's going to give me 9. You can see 27 plus 9 is 36. 36 minus 36 is going to give me 0. So that confirms that 3 is a factor. And remember, when x is equal to 3, so it's the same thing as x minus 3 equal to 0. So I mean when x is equal to 3. So when you collect like term, this becomes x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x minus 3 is a factor. So I'm going to check. Remember, I said that because this is a cubic function, so I must have 3 factors. So I will check with minus 1. 1 or minus 1? Let me go with minus 1. When x is minus 1. When x is equal to minus 1. So if I replace x with minus 1 here, it's going to give me minus 1 square, sorry, raised to the power of cube, raised to the power of 3. Let me put brackets here. Minus 4 brackets minus 1 raised to the power of 2 plus brackets minus 1 plus 6. Now, this is going to be minus 1 raised to the power of 3 is going to give me minus 1 because minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1 times another minus 1, that's going to give me minus 1. So I'm going to write minus 1, then minus 1 square is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. I'm going to write minus 4 because of this minus sign. So here, plus times minus is minus 1 plus 6. So minus 1 minus 4 is going to give me minus 5. Minus 1 again, that is going to give me minus 6. Minus 6 plus 6 is the same thing as 0, is equal to 0. So you can see, so minus 1 is a factor. Then, so, and this is the same thing as x. So this is minus 1, as it crosses it become plus, equal sign become plus, equal to 0. So now x plus 1 is a factor of this polynomial, because when you divide this polynomial, there will be no remainder. The remainder will be 0. So now I have 3 factors: x minus 2, x minus 3, and x plus 1. So that is the first method. Then the second method, I'm going to use long division method of long division. So using method of long division here, so I'm going to, since what I normally do is to find the first factor. Remember I said when you look at this, and especially when the coefficients of x raised to the power of 3 is 1, so you just go straight here, find the factors of this very polynomial. Okay, so like, you know, using the factors of this constants, constant of polynomial, which is plus 6. You know, 2 and 3 are factors. You can just assume x to be 3. Now, if you assume x to be 3, then to get the factors, it's going to be x minus 3, just like I did here. So as well as the first factor. So for me to get the remaining other the second and third factor, I'm going to divide this polynomial with x minus 3. So doing that, I'll just draw the line of division here like this. Long division. There's x minus 3. I'll write the polynomial here. X raised to the power of 3 minus 4x raised to the power of 2 plus x plus 6. Okay, now this is how to do this division. So this is the highest power of the variable 3, and I'm going to be dividing this polynomial. I'm going to use this x in the divisor to divide the highest power of the variable, the term with highest power of variable, which is the first one. So doing that, I'm going to say x raised to the power of 3 divided by x. The remaining one, the quotient will be x raised to the power of 2, because you know x will cancel 1 here. It will remain x raised to the power of 2. Okay. Now I'm going to use this x raised to the power of 2 to multiply the divisor again. So this times this, it will give me x raised to the power of 3. Then you can see I'm not touching these ones yet. Now x raised to the power of 2 multiplied by minus 3. That is going to give me minus 3x raised to the power of 2. So the next thing to do is to put minus. You subtract this second from the first. So I'm going to put line again and say this minus this, you give me 0. Then I'll say minus 4x squared minus 3x squared. That is going to give me minus 4x squared plus 3x squared. So which is the same thing as minus x squared, because plus 3x squared minus 4x is going to give me minus x squared. So I'm going to write minus x squared here. Then I'll bring this one down, bring this one down. So I will now divide again with x. Divide this first one again with x. I'm not going to touch this one. Then when I divide, I'm going to have, because 1 will cancel 1, it will remain minus x. I'm going to write minus x here. Then this minus x is going to multiply the divisor again. Minus x times x, that's going to give me minus x squared. Then minus x times minus 3, that's going to give me plus 3x. You can see minus times minus is plus. 3 times x is 3x. Then I'll bring down 6. Okay. Sorry, I don't need to bring down 6. Okay, I'll put minus sign here. Draw a line. Then this minus this will be 0. X minus 3x, that is going to give me minus 2x. Then that is when I'll bring down the plus 6. Okay, this is x minus 3x, that is minus 2x, because 3 is bigger than 1. So what I need to do again is to divide minus 2x with x. If I do that, x will cancel x here. I'll have minus 2. I'll write minus 2 as part of the equation. So minus 2 is going to multiply the divisor again. Minus 2 times x, that's going to give me minus 2x. Then minus times minus is plus. 3 times 2, that is going to give me 6. Then I'll put minus again. Then this minus this is 0. This minus this is 0. You can see no remainder. So meaning that this is a factor. So I now have the quotient as x squared minus x minus 2. So what I need to do for me to get the remaining factors of this polynomial, what I need to do is, because this is now a quadratic expression, so I'm going to factorize. It will be easy to factorize now. Now, using factorization method, I'll consider the middle term, which is minus x. I'll look for two numbers. If I add them, I'm going to have minus 1x. But if I multiply them, I'm going to have minus 2. What are the two numbers? I'll consider 1 and minus 2. 1 and minus 2. Because 1 plus minus 2 is going to give me minus 1. That is what? Minus 1x. But 1 times minus 2, that is going to give me minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to use 1 and minus 2. And remember that I'm dealing with a variable x. So this is going to be x, that is 1x, and this is going to be minus 2x. Because this middle term is going to be replaced by x and minus 2x. So replacing it, that is going to give me x squared plus, remember that x is plus here, plus x minus 2x, then minus 2. You can see there is no middle term again. I just replace this middle term with x plus x and minus 2x so that I'll be able to factorize. So I'm going to factorize now. I'll put brackets here, So factorizing this, I'm going to bring out x because x is a common factor there. So it's going to be x brackets. X will remain here because x times s is x squared plus 1. Because x times 1 is x. So now when I'm going to factorize this one as well. So the common factor here should be minus 2. Bringing out minus 2, I'll put brackets. What will remain here is x. Because minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Then what will remain here is plus. You know why? Because minus times plus is minus. So what will remain here is 1. Because 2 times 1 is 2. So you can see I have common factor here, which is x plus 1. So I'm going to pick this one and this one. X minus 2. And x, I'll just pick one. Either this x plus 1 or this x plus 1. Because they are common. X plus 1. You can see the two remaining factors. This divisor is a factor. So the third factor now is x minus 3. So these are the factors of this polynomial. You can see this one is a bit longer, but this one is shorter. This one is shorter. Once you can brainstorm and remember the numbers, you consider plus or minus, then you substitute x with it, especially when you check for the polynomial constants and find the factors of the constants. That will give you an idea of the numbers you're going to use. Then you can consider the signs, either plus or minus sign. This one is simple, well, but both of them are good, so whichever one. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more.